Hello, this is Philosophical Rebellion. Donald Trump deserves to be impeached, and here is why. He has committed two impeachable offenses, treason and bribery. If this were any other president, they would have already been impeached by now. But the Republican Party is a Trump cult. Donald Trump's word is their truth. His narrative is their gospel. And we as Americans need to destroy the Trump cult. MAGA needs to choose to be more loyal to the United States Constitution than to Donald Trump's narrative and ego. So let me tell you about what Donald Trump has been doing since he came into office. Because under the false guise of an immigration crackdown, he is actually arbitrarily detaining people in American cities en masse, meaning they are going and rounding up everybody they accuse of being here illegally. Yet even if you are an American citizen, they still round you up and lock you up. Just this last week, Trump deployed Black Hawk helicopters into a Chicago apartment complex where ICE agents dropped down, they rappelled down from Black Hawks and rounded up every single person, including women and children, from that apartment complex, tied them up, and drove them off in U-Hauls. Just because the apartment complex was alleged by them to be involved with Venezuelan gang activity, they arrested a ton of American citizens. And this isn't a one-off either. ICE has been breaking into the homes of American citizens in the middle of the night and taking them out into the streets in their underwear and nightgowns and shit like that with handcuffs on for what they say are clerical errors and mix-ups on their behalf. But what Donald Trump is doing is he is trying to normalize having federal law enforcement go around and arrest whoever they want without a warrant whenever they want, and then being able to hold people in detention with no due process, sometimes even deporting them without any trial, without so much as the appearance before a judge to dispute their alleged crimes. So the United States Constitution says that American citizens should not be deprived of due process and should not be subjected to unreasonable search and seizure. Donald Trump swore to uphold. He swore to protect yours and mine and every single American citizen's Fourth Amendment protections, and he is willfully violating them on purpose. He told his military generals to get ready to fight a war against the enemies within. And he repeatedly stressed that the generals swore an oath to fight foreign and domestic threats. Donald Trump then, after commanding his generals to fight a war against the enemies within, deployed American Black Hawk helicopters inside an American city to arbitrarily round up dozens of people. And that's what his entire immigration crackdown is. It is a fake guise to instill an authoritarian fascist police state inside the United States. That is what Donald Trump is doing. He has hired thousands and thousands of ICE agents who are going around wearing masks, breaking into people's homes, breaking into people's cars, illegally arresting a whole bunch of people, including American citizens. And what we found time and time again is that often these people who are being illegally arrested by ICE are then transferred to places like Alligator Alcatraz, where prisoners are getting bed bugs and unsafe food to eat and unsafe water to drink. Or ICE actually loses track of thousands of people. They just lost track of 1,200 people. And for others, they have been sent overseas where they've been held in prisons known to torture their prisoners. And we've gotten reports that Americans have been sent to foreign prisons and tortured there, beaten, starved, kept in stress positions for long periods of time, and told that they would die there. And that was all in direct violation of a Supreme Court order. So not only is Donald Trump enacting an authoritarian police state, he is also violating Supreme Court orders as he does it. And secondly, Donald Trump's net worth has gone up by $3 billion while in office, essentially doubling his net worth. And the vast majority of that money comes from cryptocurrencies where he's taking bribes from oligarchs and foreign governments. Donald Trump has taken billions of dollars from foreign governments in real estate development deals. He and Jared Kushner have received billions and billions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from the United Arab Emirates. And Donald Trump's corruption at this point is just out in the open. If this were Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, they would have been locked away for life for the amount of bribery Donald Trump gets away with every month of his presidency. Biden would have been locked away and impeached in a week after that cryptocurrency dinner Donald Trump staged. No other president in history could get away with that shit. But you ask Mike Johnson, you ask Marco Rubio, you ask any powerful Republican what they think of Donald Trump taking so many bribes out in the open, they say they've never seen it, they've never heard about it, they don't know what's going on. These people are major hypocrites. James Comer had a House committee devoted to investigating Joe Biden's alleged corruption. Yet when it comes to Donald Trump's actual corruption, actual bribes, they couldn't give two shits. Because Donald Trump is their emperor, God king, and they will never do anything to upset their dear leader. If you ever try to allege Donald Trump is making a corrupt deal, you're a despicable human being. Legit, Carolyn Levitt, Trump's press secretary, was asked about Donald Trump and Jared Kushner taking billions of dollars in investments from the Saudi government while working on policy directly affecting America's involvement in the Middle East. And Carolyn Levitt called the reporter despicable for asking that question. When Donald Trump was asked by an Australian reporter on the White House lawn if there are any ethical issues with him being involved in so many real estate transactions while president, Donald Trump attacked the reporter for asking that question. If MAGA had any credibility at all, they would impeach Trump today for his bribery and for levying war against the United States by deploying United States military assets to illegally arrest and detain American citizens. And when I say MAGA needs to choose who they're more loyal to, the United States or Trump, I mean it, because the Declaration of Independence specifically said they were fighting the Revolutionary War because the King of England was locking people up for pretend offenses and sending them beyond the seas to be jailed without so much as a simple trial by jury. So Donald Trump is bringing back the exact authoritarianism America's founders fought the Revolutionary War to rid our country of. America's founders made clear that government officials are servants of the people. They are not our kings. They can't use the power of government in their own self-interest, or at least they shouldn't be allowed to. But MAGA is bringing that back too. MAGA is bringing back all of the tyrannical bullshit the American Revolutionary War was fought to get rid of in our country. So MAGA needs to choose America or Trump. And by the way, he most likely raped a 13-year-old girl with Jeffrey Epstein. That is why the Epstein files aren't coming out. That's why his administration is refusing to prosecute any of the traffickers or assailants associated with Jeffrey Epstein. So remember, Donald Trump in the pussy tape bragged about groping women and forcibly kissing them against their will without their consent. In other podcast interviews, he's bragged about walking in on pageant contestants, teenage girls, while changing, and snooping on them, being a peeping Tom of underage girls. So when we have a 13-year-old who claims to have been raped by Donald Trump alongside Jeffrey Epstein, I'm inclined to believe her. So don't forget, Donald Trump is also a serial sexual assailant, a peeping Tom of underage girls, and more likely than not, sexually assaulted a young teenage girl with Jeffrey Epstein. So if you support Donald Trump today, you support sexual assault, you support people infringing on the Fourth Amendment rights of American citizens, you support legalized bribery, and you support authoritarian crackdowns on free speech. And although some of the MAGA cult are too far gone, if you're listening to this, I hope you are not, and I hope you choose to stand with America rather than stand with Donald Trump. He does not deserve your loyalty.